DJ, defense is playing well these first four games. The defensive line is playing very well. Talk about how satisfied you are with how you guys are playing up front.
I think a lot of guys in our room, we hold ourselves to a standard that comes from, the coach down. And I think we're doing a good job of that. And we just got to continue to build. We're only through the first quarter of the season, so, guys still gelling together. But we're hunting together, and, it feels good to go out there and really hunt with your teammates.
Thank you.
DJ, you probably haven't had an opportunity to look at a whole lot of tape yet on the Packers, but, everybody talks about their quarterback, their skill players. How good is their offensive line?
They're really good. They're coached very well. The guys step well together on double teams. They do a good job of playing low. They're physical up front. The way they get after it in pass pro, they do a good job of kind of setting a pocket around Aaron. He does a good job of getting the ball out quick. So, it's going to be a good test for us. So I'm excited to go out there and compete on Sunday. Get to digging in a little bit more on film this week.
Have you taken a close look at their two running backs, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones?
Yeah, both of the backs are good. Aaron Jones is like super special. He can do it all. A.J. Dillon is, a back who in college, if you watched him, I don't know if anybody watched a lot of Boston College, but he just ran through people. So, he's finding his way in the league this year, using him a lot more. It's going to be a good test for us, to go up against those two guys. They got a really good attack with both those guys. So I'm excited for the contest and, excited to go out there and play against these guys.
When you say you guys are hunting together, you guys as a group, what does that mean to you? And from like a personality standpoint, how would you describe the personality of the Bengals defensive line?
I think we got a lot of interesting personalities in that room. Everybody gels well together. But I think we got a band of guys who are all kind of in the same age group. We're all similar in ways that we're all competitive. Everybody's competitive. And everybody's on the board right now, so everybody has a sack. So now it's just we're all hunting together. Everybody really wants whoever to get there to make a play, and we're excited when each other makes a play because we hold ourselves at a standard. We know the plays are going to come. We're going to be there for them, and, we're going to be there to piggyback off the next guy. We got a good rotation. All the guys do some things a little bit different, and, I really enjoy it. I'm enjoying that about this defensive line. It's not like you got to plug in and play and it's going to be the same guy. You're seeing something different every time.
DJ, when you go back to your free agency before you signed here, what was the big, aside from the money, what was the biggest pitch on coming here and why you wanted to come to Cincinnati and play for Anarumo?
Being a part of change, just being a part of something that, I wasn't very sure. That was a year. It was the beginning of the pandemic, and, it was a year when everybody wasn't really sure. And I didn't really have much time to think about stuff, and I just took a leap on faith. I knew, we had a good chance of taking Joe Burrow, and they were going to try to revamp the team and what they wanted to do as an organization. I wanted to be a part of that, and I was like, I saw some other guys sign, and I was like, I know those guys personally, and I was like, I want to be a part of what they got going. They come from winning programs, so I'm excited to see what we got going.
What do you think the biggest change has been, or why do you think this unit has been so successful so far through 4 games?
We got guys that are young and competitive, and we're bought in. We're bought into what we're doing. We guys are smart. They're selfless. Players can go out there and put it all on the line. Like we don't, you don't have the big names that every other defense has, and nobody really talks about it. And that's fine. We don't care. It's just we got guys who are going to grind, and that's what we're building our team off of. Everybody holds each other accountable. There's nobody's out there, keep holding their feelings on their shoulders or anything like that. Everybody's out there holding each other accountable. You mess up, you get yelled at, we correct it the next play, and that's where we go about it. We're going to always pick each other up, but we're going to tell you when you messed up, and that's what I love it. I love the accountability we have on this defense right now.
How well is Larry playing?
Larry's playing really well. I'm excited to see it. A guy who I felt like, the last couple of years might have been out of position. And so, I'm glad he's getting to work at that 3 technique, and he looks really good at it. So, it's just continuing to grind for him, and it's a long season. So I know he's got some things he wants to keep getting done, and we're going to have him be a part of that.
He seems to be a natural. He seems to be a natural 3 technique. What do you think are the best parts of his game? What do you?
He's a very explosive player. He's smart. He's explosive, and he's aggressive. And You know, when you got a guy who's physical and explosive, and a smart player, you can make a really good football player out of him. That's what he's proven. You know, he's very disciplined in what he does, his craft, his personal life. He's a pro. You know, he carries himself as a pro. He goes about his day like a pro.
Thanks, DJ.
6 years into your career, DJ, 6 years in, is it still a big deal for you to look across the line of scrimmage and see somebody like Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. I guess I don't really think about it as much. I know, you know, what he can do with the ball in his hands. I've played against him before, and so, you know, I practiced against him. We had a joint practice with him when I was in Houston, so I've kind of got over the shock factor. But no, it's just, you know what he can do with the ball in his hand. You know how dangerous he is. So, you know, there's always that heightened sense of timing in your head. I think that's really more so what it is. It's not like, oh, man, we're playing against Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's special. He's arguably the greatest quarterback ever played the game. But, you know, he's going to do what he does, and we got to do our job of getting after him.
DJ, is there a bigger adrenaline rush for a defensive lineman than having a fourth down stop at the 1 yard line?
No, not many. That play, just those type of plays, you know, it changes momentum. And, you know, I know we didn't necessarily get a turnover in that game, but, you know, in my head, I count turnover on downs as turnovers, so I consider us +1. And, you know, it's a big thing for us, you know. That the ball over right there, gets to play back. You know, you're looking at, if they kick it, they're 3. If they get it, that's 7. You know, you're down 21-0. Instead, that's a 7-point swing back our way. It's 7-7, back 14-7. You know, you're feeling a lot of emotion and momentum swinging our way.
DJ, when you watch your quarterback play, you have a front row seat. Talk about just your amazement at such a young kid doing so many things against good defenses.
Oh man, I see it in practice all the time, but we know how competitive he is. We get after him, we mess with him in practice. I know this training camp was intense. Everybody, a lot of you know, emotions flying, a lot of junk talking, a lot of things going on. We were being aggressive, he was being aggressive. So, you know, we've known what Joe is made of, and, you know, it's exciting for us to watch the world see what Joe's made of. You know, you're not over there on third down sitting there just waiting to grab your helmet. You're sitting there watching them, waiting on them to make a play, and that's exciting. That's exciting as a defensive player, knowing that you got somebody with the ball in their hands that can do things like that.
Thank you.
With Logan Wilson, was there a moment over the last 2 years where you've looked at him and said, all right, this is a real 3-down linebacker, a real big part of this defense?
When we drafted him, I watched the college highlight tape, and I was like, you know, this kid can play. And, you know, if I can clean up visions and we can clean up things for him as a defensive line, and, you know, he can come in and gel with the rest of our linebackers and get that group going, and, you know, he can really play. You know, if you watch any of his film at Wyoming, you watch him, it's the same thing that's happening. He makes tackles, he picks the ball off. He's a really disciplined player, and, you know, I'm excited. I'm really happy that a lot of people see that now. You know, he's making a lot of plays, and it's got to continue. You know, we got to continue to make things clear for him.
You were the first piece, really. I mean, back in 20, you were the first piece. You've watched everybody else come in after you.
Yeah.
Now, are you guys a contender? Do you think you're legit? Well, what do you have to do? What do you have to do to get over that hump?
I think we're legit. You know, but we got to go out there and prove that every day. You know, we got to go out there every single practice, every day, and prove that. We can say it all we want. It's the first quarter of the season. All those things sound good. But we still got to go out there and take it 1 week at a time and prove it. So, you know, this week we get a chance to prove it on Sunday. Next week we're going to get another chance to prove it. So we got to go out there this week, right now, get it done. You know, take this tomorrow. Tomorrow's our off day. Get back here Wednesday, get started, see what's going on, and get going and get ready for a contest on Sunday to prove that we are a contender.
DJ,
How big is it to come from behind 14 points in 2 of your first 3 wins?
Just gritty. Like I said, we had a really competitive training camp. It was really, really, really competitive. So we knew, you know, what we were made of as a team. So we knew we were gritty. We knew we weren't just going to give up things, you know, go down there. And I think in preseason we had a couple of big plays happen. We still fought up and stood up against it. So I think we felt confident in ourselves as a team. So I think it's just we knew that was what was going to go on. We knew that's what we had in us. And so I think it says that we're going to fight. And that's what we knew. And I'm glad everybody else is going to see it.
EJ, Aaron Rodgers is like the king of getting and create free plays. How much are you guys going to emphasize that in practice this week?
I'll just always watch the ball. You don't want to be late, but you want to be right on the ball, and that's part of discipline. I think that's just what we got to be on. Everybody's got to be disciplined and know what they got going on. He's really good at getting people during substitutions and things like that. So it's just stuff you got to be very, very high alert. He's a smart guy. He plays the game within the game, and he can make all the throws. He's a really, really good quarterback.
DJ, do you feel like this is the toughest offense you guys have faced so far this season?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it'll be a good challenge for us. I'm excited. So I think they're really, really good. They're a really good team. They've been to the NFC Championship, the last 2 years. And they're special. They're a very winning program. They've handed the keys off from one guy who's winning to another guy who's winning, and they've all won their whole career. So it'll be a good challenge for us. And, it is what it is, and we're excited to go out there and play these guys.
You mentioned playing on a defense that doesn't have a lot of big names. You did play on a defense that had a huge name right next to you in J.J. Watt. Is there a difference playing on a group that has some people that aren't as well known as opposed to playing on one that has some of the biggest superstars that are out there?
I think if the mentality is the same as, just winning as a team and, everybody out there as a pack hunting together, I don't think there's much of a difference. I think, I had that year in Houston, we were special. And I think, this team has the same makings of that as far as just unselfishness. Everybody wanted to go out there and make plays for each other and make plays for the team. Get the ball back to our offense and let them go down there and score. That's our concentration. Get the ball back to them.
DJ, they lose to the Saints 38-3 to start the season. Now they're on a 3-game winning streak.
Yes.
You even look at that tape against the Saints. I mean, it seems like it's such an aberration. You look at it. I mean, what do you learn from it? Do you just look at the other 3 games more so than the Saints game?
I think you get a mix of all the games. I'm sure there's really, really good things that the Saints did well. So you check it out. But they made corrections and adjustments. So, you got to watch all the games. I probably watch all 4 of them and see what was different in that game, especially, to make it be that big of a difference. But, that offense is explosive and they get going. So can't got to take that with a grain of salt.
Right.
Going back to the question about you guys being legit, when did you know? When did you sit up and take notice? At what point in the offseason did you start thinking this defense can be different?
I thought with the signings we had and then, with training camp, I think we came in OTAs and I felt like during that time, everybody had a better understanding of what we had going on defense. I think last year with the COVID year, having to be on Zoom and not being able to really do certain things, you got a lot of new guys coming in. It's hard to make people comfortable. You get hit with the injury bug. So many things happen, This year, I think we came in with a clearer mind, everybody on clear communication from the coaches on down, and it made things a lot more simple. We found out what we were good at, what we majored in, and what we could do and what we couldn't do. And I think we did a good job of figuring those things out early, and everybody's now feeling more comfortable in what we have going on, what our job is, what our assignment is, so you can play fast.
DJ, every really good defensive line has complementary players. Somebody brings something different to the table. Do you feel you guys have that?
Yeah, I think so. I think, every guy out there is different, and I could go through all the guys. And where some of us lack certain things, the other guys have those things. And I think, and that's special in our room. And I also think it's really special, like I said, to have a lot of guys in that same age group who are really young and playing ball at a high level and really want to go out there and really compete and prove themselves in this league. It means a lot when you got that. When you got a lot of guys fighting to prove themselves, it means a lot.
2 more minutes.
DJ, how tough was it to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh and have 87 snaps, have a short week, and then Thursday night go out there and have to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars? How tough was that, both physically and mentally, going through that?
It wasn't. I mean, it was not the funnest thing I've ever been through. That's a word, but definitely wasn't on the list of fun things that I've had going. But it was really awesome to go out there and compete. Luckily everybody came through it healthy, and it worked out. Those short weeks are really, really tough. You don't really, especially as a defensive lineman, and probably offensive line, a lot of positions, you don't really get your legs back until like that Wednesday, maybe. So going out there on Thursday, you don't feel great. But it was good, and it showed a lot of grit from our team, especially, that was a hard-fought game in Pittsburgh. And then to come back and you're down, they get up on you 14-0, and you got to really fight and dig and see what you're made of to come back. And so it was really, really good to have that team win. I think mentally it took a lot of guys. So it was good to have that weekend off, get guys refreshed, be back here today.
DJ, just out of curiosity, was there something particularly about being at the beginning of COVID that made you want to look at maybe some change and kind of overhauling a lot of things? There's something specifically about the pandemic that made you start thinking about things a little bit more or now?
Yeah, I think just, in life you think about things and, what was going on just in the world and just security. And I think, I was at a point in my life, like, who was I going to be as a man? I didn't really have a choice to really, it's kind of like you get kicked out of your mom's house. I didn't have a choice to go home. So home wasn't an option. So now it's kind of like, what choice am I going to make? And, figuring that out. And, I knew whatever decision I made, I was going to be full in it and fully committed to it. We called these guys, we talked, and they seemed like they were really committed to the idea. So, it was exciting. And I was like, take this opportunity on with, full head of steam.
One last question.
DJ, go ahead. Go ahead.
On that, in that process, was there anything that anybody said that just put you over the top? I mean, was there one thing? Was it an accumulation of things in your final decision?
One of my friends said, Ben texted me, and I was like, where do you think I'm ending up going? This is before it happened. They're like Cincinnati. And I was like, what? I was like, why would that even come up? The Bengals, I've never talked about it. I've never been to Cincinnati. So, that kind of, just having that text, it was just kind of, it wasn't like it was just it was such a random team to be thrown out that it kind of felt like fate at that moment. I talked to my mom, she's a very faithful woman, very strong with prayer. And me and her just talked about it. And she was like, you're going to be good wherever you go. And talked to my agent. My agent was like, you kind of, your options are, you can't really, who you betting on? You're going to bet on Joe Burrow or Drew Lock? And I was like, I really think I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. I really like Joe Burrow, Joey B. And, I like what they got going on, what they're building down there. So, I'm excited. So that's really what it came down to. It was a quick 15 minutes between all those things that happened that I just told you about. It was a quick 15 minutes. And then, I made the call and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take me a nap. I went to sleep.
Seems like a pretty good call.
It was pretty good. It was different, though. It wasn't the natural experience of being able to, go on visits, fly out. I just hadn't seen anything. I just got to go off word of mouth for what everybody's telling me. And I'm like, all right, that's what we're doing. We're in it.